Good Monday morning, everyone. How is everyone doing? Hope you all had a fantastic weekend and are ready for another very busy trading week. Good morning, Ken. Good morning, Sterling. Good morning, Sashi. Good morning, everybody else who's not in the chat right now, but I do see you watching. Good morning, Jacob. Again, thank you. Good morning, Davey. We'll get to Tesla in a bit. Good morning, George. So, thank you for all the good mornings. By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term subscribers and viewers, please like the videos and continue to comment. Again, thank you for the comments on yesterday's videos, and thanks for everybody who did tune into the sector overview, which is very helpful. Sterling had a great comment on there, and I think it does help everybody prepare for the next week with what sectors to focus on. So this morning, keep in mind, in 30 minutes, well, 25 minutes now, we have two Fed speakers, and then at 10 a.m. Central, we have inflation expectations. Keep that in mind. FOMC still about 80%. Gamma flip right now, 45.23. We're at about 44.88 area, so it's still slightly gamma negative. So do keep that in mind, but we're getting close. On any rally, it would flip back to positive pretty quickly. Let's take a look at the bigger price action right now. Still holding the channel. Now I'm going to be trading this as a double bottom. Looks like the market is testing February 24th lows. February 20 is going to test. What you're talking February 24th lows. You mean all the way down? It looks like it's going to test, because I'm still expecting, with everything I follow, I'm still expecting another pop this week. And then we will have the big rollover. The bigger rollover is coming. Now, could we sell down? We are at key support. If we do break this key support, the areas I'm really focused on, let me show you this. If we break the key support and continue lower through today, minor would be 44.21. Major is right around 43.98. 43.98, so 4,400 would be the harmonic. And that would actually push through the bottom of the flag channel pattern. I am, even with this little spike down, it is slightly lower probability, but I am still watching this for the potential double bottom. Potential double bottom again. It is still a potential. Looks like a more aggressive play that I will be watching. We have a little minor double bottom. Then we actually have, I'll take that off. That was just a 5-minute thing that I was watching over here. Then we do have this, which actually does work. You can see here, so you have a double in a double. We have some potential bottoming patterns. Does that just mean you buy off the bat? No, it does not mean you just randomly buy. I wait for stuff to trigger, especially because it's fighting downward pressure. We have a lot of key support down here. We have a lot of cycles at their bottom. We'll take a look at the NASDAQ in a second, and it would be an aggressive 4-hour buy above, on a close above this bar's high, which would be 44.7350. Why is it aggressive? It's still against the 4-hour rotation zone, and you have a lot of overhead resistance. Now, I am watching this still as a sloppy double, that we could have a double within a double, and this would play out through the rest of the week. And again, as I said, then I'm watching for the bigger, longer-term sell pattern. So that's going to be key. And the other double would be 45.1975. And then 45.5750. And then we go through the other targets later. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on now. If we do break below, it's about 44.42, 44.44 area with momentum bars. Then I'm going to be targeting short-term, another push, and probably both those doubles would be invalidated, but we'll review that at the end of the day. Today, for the people who don't know all the double rules, NASDAQ still pushing lower. We also have that information with with Tesla with their deliveries and with Twitter now and Elon not joining the board. So we will see push down completing all the areas for that double. By the way, the other double bottom we were watching that never even came close to triggering is off the table. NASDAQ continues to be extremely, extremely weak. Let's put up the retracement areas. They're actually already here. I just deleted the other one. It's closing in, sorry, on that 50% level, which is the next key area I am watching for. I'm just cleaning up a couple things here, and let's just see with the harmonics where that gave us with this pausing bar. So this is your key support on any push lower today, 14,079 to 14,100, 14,103. I will watch if it does push down here for a significant bottoming pattern. Why is that area significant? We have the harmonics, which is the red and green line. Red line already gone through. You can see how we just paused there briefly and now we've rolled over. But the green line with the 50%, the 50% level is from the lows back on the 15th of March to the highs on the 29th. And you know what? The 50% level is very key. So if we do get a little push lower on the opening, that's where I'm watching for some very key support. No bottoming pattern just yet, but starting to lose some momentum. Even with another push lower into the open, we could be setting up for some divergences, which I will keep an eye on. Now, if we don't find support here, and this is where I will watch for some kind of reversal. It's not just buy because it hits that level. I'll watch for either a double pattern setting up or some divergence pattern setting up or a percent B pattern setting up. Next key level is about 13,814, which would be very, very key. So that's, again, what I'm looking for with the NASDAQ. Good morning, Ramsafal. Good morning. Let's see with the Dow. The Dow, little pullback. The Dow is actually only down 40 basis points versus the S&P 75 and the NASDAQ 122. The Dow holding up the best. Let's go to the shorter term charts. Just going to keep an eye on this right now. It's very, very sloppy, but could be a little reversal pattern to take on Friday's highs. So that's what I'm watching, but that's only above 34,621. And actually, if that pushes lower into the open, that will still be valid. So, I mean, you could come back down here, and I don't mind this little extra rotation bottom here on the left-hand side. But below 34.36 to about 34.410, that's going to be my key support level. You break below that, though, then we're going to go with about 34.359 and this low coming in from Friday about 34.368. So that's going to be my next area below that 34.308. So that's where we sit with the Dow. We are bullish. I am bullish. I'm waiting for a bottoming pattern. So that's where we sit. Remember, I have to wait for something to trigger because we are long-term cycle bottom, so we just don't buy. You just don't buy. And then longer term, as I said before, if you came in late, longer term on any kind of pop, I'm then watching for within about the next week, week and a half for another major top pattern and then a significant breakdown play. So when we get to cycle bottoms and they're turning up here, it means your breakdowns are still limited unless we get some really bad news with momentum out there. That's why I'm watching for the quick pop that turns the cycles back to the top. And then with that pop, we'll do our analysis and watch for that bigger term play. Russell holding the key support right here, 1980. We break below there, 1942. We also have this little, now we have a potential play in here. I don't like it as much with that sideways price action right by this area. But I will watch if we do get that bottom in, because we do have some sloppy potential double bottoms still. That would be above 215, essentially 2016, 2034, 2043, 2053, right by the prior significant level. DAX, not much going in here. Still have this did not come down low enough, so still have a little potential double here. But if we get back down below 1470, that's going to pretty much be off the table. Crude, we do have a little mini potential double. The crude, I'm waiting for the next move. We either have to get break down below about 93.40 with momentum. Like here, you know, I like that breakdown plays. You broke down, but immediately snapped back, so we didn't roll over again. Retest that area, became support. So this was an area, this is why I like to watch for that retest and the roll over if you're trying to trade these things on shorter term basis. Because you see, broke the key level, right back above it, never got below the key level again, retesting and then moving off of it. Here's this little play. We still have a potential double bottom here, but I need above 98.76, and that would just be a quick little retracement up. It's not a long-term play. Again, that would be a retest of this trend line area, and it is lower probability since it is against the separating daily rotation zone, but that's the only slight bullish trade. Now, if we do roll over again and break this key level, then it will be off the table, and I'd be focused on 88.91. Gold up a little, breaking above this key level, so now I'm watching for a push higher in gold. My next area is about 1987. And this is, you know, what's interesting is you still do have the potential that longer term in play, head and shoulders, you see above this area, then it's a minor would be 1992 and majors 2011. Again, for me, this is still trading around the core position. Rallies at key levels are unwinding, pullbacks are re-adding. Silver, again, pushing up. Key area I'm watching is 25.95. Notes, still watching for a longer term bottom. We had that double that never got close to triggering, and that's off the table now, but we have significant support here. Cycles are at the bottom. We have a aggressive buy pattern above today's high above yesterday's high on a closing basis. We might even be setting up tomorrow for another buy pattern above today's high. Again, I need to wait for confirmation, not just buying. And we have this little bottoming pattern right here, which is what I'm going to be focused on today to see. It's triggered already. So now I am watching for a return to the 120.05 area. And that would just be this little pop higher, which doesn't even trigger the buy signal from yesterday. So then I'll be watching for the longer term daily buy signal. Dollar index, pretty much just a pause right here. Key support is 99.30. Until it breaks above 100, there's nothing really to focus on for me right there. Just holding the 4-hour rotation zone. VIX, still can see here, key area for me is still 25. Until we break above there, that's just, we're still, I mean, a little more fear pre-market, but nothing substantial. We'll watch to see how that retraces into the open. Now let's take a look. Tesla, I know their China delivery numbers were lower, and we have that gap down. I'm watching short term for, now that completes this other gap with this gap. Short term, I am watching. These targets are now done because it will be lower here. Remember, with the gap fill plays, the close from Friday, I don't know exactly where it's going to open. Let's just pretend. Then I will be watching for that 62.5 level about right here. If we open down around 978, I'll be watching about 10,008. And then for that gap fill play. That's the key area I will be focused on today in that short term. And if we get another pop this week in NASDAQ, we could see another little bounce, and I will be much more bearish on Tesla longer term. You do have some key support down here with the 50, though, at 965. So even if it pushes lower, you have key support and the 50% level for the run up. So key support level, if it does push lower before the gap fill, I'm watching 965 to about 970 for a bottoming pattern. Again, that would be for a short-term pop, not for a long-term play. If you did break below the 50, that is not very positive. Then we start watching about 954 and breaking below that. Major support doesn't come back until 904 to the downside. Let's check Twitter with Elon now not joining the board. Pre-market just down slightly. Remember, for my gap fill play about 45, I'll just focus on 45. We start getting some key closes on a 1 hour below that. Longer term, I'm going to watch for the gap fill play over the next few days. Can the significant breakdown happen now before May 4th and rally after the rate hike? Anything is possible. Longer term, we have a lot of these major long-term sell signals, which I'm watching to kick back in after this next little push higher. Then we'll have major cycles rolling over. Can all that change? Yes, that's why we wait for confirmation with the trades. We don't just, even if I'm short-term bullish, I need some kind of signal. It's why I just don't, okay, buy, because that would not be, that would just be trying to predict something and not wait for a trade trigger. Remember, wait for a trigger. TLT, I'm also watching for a longer term bottoming in this. Again, I need a signal getting oversold, cycles getting to the bottom but not turning up yet. RSI oversold. So bonds, I'm really looking for that longer term signal getting overextended, but there is no signal yet on here. So that's where I'm watching. It looks like it's going to be lower today, but not a good signal yet. No bottoming pattern, but I will be also watching with things like the longer term bonds, which your TLTs mimic are tied to 20 years plus, so 20 and 30-year bonds. I will be watching for a bottoming play in those two. Running out of some momentum. Even with this push lower, we have some divergences that could be setting up. Buy pattern could be above today's high, but you need a substantial reversal intraday. Probably this will be setting up for another possible buy area tomorrow. Definitely, it has a buy signal again above today's high, but with this push lower, it will be a buy signal probably tomorrow above whatever high is set today. Mike, you just mentioned that you're short-term bullish bounce, but waiting for a bottoming pattern on the Dow before a major plunge. Are you looking for the same movement on the S&P? Yes. NASDAQ is weakest. I'm especially looking with the S&P and the Dow for the bottoming plays for another slight kick higher, and then the bigger longer-term rollover play because of major sell signals that have already triggered prior. Those are still completely valid. We've got that strong bounce. We still have a flag pattern here, a pullback. It's still holding above very key levels. We have sediment still tipped short-term in the negative with this. So I am watching for some of these plays to kick in. Does these plays mean if I can be short-term bullish, does that mean we're going to get above the 28th of the 29th March highs? Not necessarily. That's where I'm judging this next bounce play up to really gauge and then watch for the bigger term positioning for another key breakdown. So that's what, just like today it's not just buying. Okay, we're back down here, not just buying. That's why I'm watching for these shorter term reversal patterns intraday. It's got to show me some strength. And that's why I also went off the bearish case. If we do break down, especially below this 44.40 area, retest and roll over, then short term I will still be watching for the downward price action and another potential bottoming pattern. However, this is very key support that it's leaning against right now. Still looking for an entry point in SRUFF, but that keeps running away. Looks like minor support below. Let's get in here, SRUFF. There, I typed the wrong one. This with Sprott, which I have talked about this for weeks. This, we're getting to a potential topping pattern. I wouldn't be chasing this higher. I'm now watching for a pullback in uranium. It's starting to look a little toppy. And you're at cycle tops. You're starting to have some divergences up here. What ran away, and this is sort of a reversal bar from last week. So yeah, this is where I would not be chasing this higher at all. Because also remember, this was a trade around a core position. Now it's watching for that pullback, and this is major support, about 15 bucks. 15 bucks is a first key area now on a pullback level. If we did pull back below that, because uranium can be a little volatile, I'd be watching about 1435 area with the rising weekly, and that would still just be dipping in from these prior highs, but building a base pattern up here. So that would be areas I'd be looking to add to a position. Again, signaling a major pullback. We are getting some toppy price action. What major pullback? Like, am I watching for a pullback to now to 11 to 12? No. A major pullback to me would be that 1435 area. Right in here. That would be a significant pullback to me. Then I'd watch for a reversal. Again, that 1435, you have the rising 50 on the 4 hour. You have just below, I'd then watch for the close back above the daily rotation zone, but you have major support right in here if it does break below that 15. But uranium's still in long-term accumulation phase, and you can't see it here, but if you look at long-term charts, like here's URA, which has been for a while. See, this is still, we could see this easily pop up to the 31s. So, like if you're playing these kind of things on shorter-term bases, they have a lot of room to run to the upside still. But I do like the Sprott. If you can trade it on the TSX, that is one of the better plays. What's your view on the Dow Jones Industrials? Already went through. I'm just do the analysis on the futures, watching for this. If you came in late, watching for this potential bottoming pattern, which trade in the futures above 34,621 for a pop higher to test Friday's highs. What really invalidates that if we start breaking below 34,410? Then, as I said before, 34,359, 34,308 would be for the downside. But the Dow definitely holding up the best. 31 basis points going into the open versus 66 basis points down for the S&P and 112 for the NASDAQ. So that's why I'm sort of focused on the Dow for the strength first, then the S&P and NASDAQ last. That's where I have to wrap it up to get ready for the open. Again, thank you for everyone being here. Thanks for all the comments, all the questions. I will be around today after the close for our regular market overview, and we will keep working on setting ourselves up for success the rest of the week. Until then, I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.